So we went to this dessert with Joe Coffey. We went to the church, and I'm thinking, you know what? He's refused an email invitation to meet, and yet here I am at his church. I'm going to go up, shake his hand. If he has any interest at all at hearing the other side, all he needs to do is say, "Hey, Joe, why don't we sit down and talk? Or maybe we can just let's figure out what's going on." But no, there was nothing. And the pattern has been, do not talk to Joe Mauk. Do not talk to the other side. And yet then they're saying, they've already done everything. They've already done they told somebody, wasn't there someone that just told that there's no more investigation to be done?
Right.
Yeah.
They've done their due diligence and there's no investigation.
Yet they've never had me present my side or the evidence, and they've just labeled me as the bad guy in this and will not allow my voice to be heard. Now, I don't care really that my voice is not heard. What I care about is I'm representing victims who want their voices to be heard. And by them shutting me down, they shut down the victims. And they are still there, they're still talking, and they will be there as long as they live. And more are going to be talking about this as the years pass, because as they lose their financial support, and as they grow up, just like we've seen in institutional abuse cases all over the world and recently in Pennsylvania, when they get older, they have to talk. They have to say it, and they want
get it off their chest.
They want justice. But they've been too intimidated, too scared at the young age, and continually rejected. They'll say something, oh no, that's not true. Oh no, that wouldn't happen. No, he wouldn't do that. And so they clam up, but then they get to a point where, no, it has to be known. And so, okay, clam me up. You're clamming up the voices. Do you think those voices will be quiet forever? It's going to come out, and the more they delay resolution, the more it looks so intentional on their part to hurt the victims further.
And how brave they were to come forward, give their statements, and hoping for justice, and then no investigation, no formal counseling that we know of that they have afforded the kids. And then, when it was the dessert with Joe Coffey, and they said it was a vision. And so I was thinking, okay, it's a vision for the church. And maybe they're going to learn from what happened on abuse and how they're going to deal with stuff like that going forward. But then when we got there, I found out that it wasn't really a vision at all. It was a fundraiser. There was actually a card there that you could check the box to contribute $100,000 to.
Oh, you checked that, didn't you?
And then I put the two and two together. Why would they call me the night before? That gentleman called me the night before, but it would give a deterrence to your donors if, Sankey was brought up and about abuse and everything, and they might not want to really contribute to that until they find out, what really went on. So.
Yeah, I notice also they support several ministries that minister to abused women that are anti-abuse organizations. But what we find when you look at institutional abuse all over the world, you'll have people who have all the right compassionate approach for the people who are out here. But one of their own is involved, different rules now.
Yeah.
Different rules, and this is what's happening. Here's a church that has done so much good work, has so much support of so many good organizations, but one of their own is lying. And the senior pastor says, I support him in his lies, and I'll tell more lies to cover for him. And the congregation are saying, these men would never lie. And yet, there's a suppression of the actual evidence.
Well, and speaking of, all the good donations and everything that they took up to help other, projects. I remember that they took up a collection in our cell group, in my cell group, for the trafficking of women and everything. And they took a donation within our cell group. It was a small cell group. Like I said, my mom's hospice nurse had invited me to. And I'd been a member since 2011, way before this happened. But what was weird was that after this all came out and everything, and you and I went to the Dessert with Joe coffee, then the cell group stopped for the summer. And then they would resume back in the fall. And after we went and you came and tried to talk to Joe Coffee again, I was asked to meet there was a couple that hosted the cell group in their home, and she asked to meet me, and I met her at Lions Park, which is close to my house. And we sat down on a park bench, and she goes, "You know what this is about, don't you?" And I go, kind of. And she goes, "Well, it's because of your involvement with the Philippines and the Sankey matter, and you just won't let it go. And Christ Community Chapel goes and sponsors our cell groups that are held in our home, and so you and your husband are no longer welcome in the cell group," and they kicked us out of Bible study. So all I got to ask is, what would Jesus do?